I've always had the dream of wanting to fly around the world, starting in London and flying west, exploring as I go until I get back to London. Well, today we're going to do just that, but all in first class. That's over 20,000 miles in the best comfort commercial aviation has to offer. And the best bit? Wait until you find out how much I paid. You joined me relatively early in the morning for the first leg of this trip. I'm just about to go and get in the car and drive over to London Heathrow to get my first 11-hour flight. I'm at Heathrow Terminal 5, about to go in here, which is BA's first wing. Because we're flying first today, we get access to what's called the Concorde Lounge. I think first of all I'm going to go for a breakfast. It's only 10:30 at the minute. I've got a couple of hours before I need to go and catch my flight. That was a lovely indulgence. We have got to go over to BGate to catch my flight, and I've gone the wrong way. The gate where I'm flying over to San Jose. Yeah, big reveal, we're going over to California. Over in B-Gates now. Quite excited because I've not experienced this configuration of their first class, so we're going to see what it's like together for the first time. Of course guys, let me know what you think in the comments below and smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Let's go over to the plane. After stowing my bag, I got stuck in with several glasses of LPGS champagne. Then I kicked back and waited for takeoff. Flying really doesn't get old to me, which is a good thing seeing as I'm flying a lot over the next few weeks. How great are those Dreamliner windows? Fun fact, actually the largest passenger plane windows in the sky. Right, food. After flicking through the menu, one of the cabin crew came over and introduced himself. I always find BA staff to be awesome, chatty and not over the top formal. There was no steak available today, so I went for the curry. Yes, I know it's pretty random, but it did taste really good. For dessert, I chose to go for the cheese platter. After dinner, I took the chance to try out the bed. This may or may not have been down to several drinks being consumed. You do get a proper duvet complete with mattress topper and comfy pillow. Before I knew it, the crew were beginning to prepare for landing. I loved the approach you get flying into San Jose, as you get to see right over San Francisco. And there we have it. We have now arrived in San Jose. My friend's about to come and pick me up, and I've got 2 weeks out here in the US. Then we're flying over on our next leg, which I won't reveal just yet. So here is my 2 weeks in California in 60 seconds. This is Pete, by the way, one of my oldest friends who lives out in San Fran. Aside from driving a V8, I jumped onto the iconic cable car to explore the city. Finally reaching the top of the famous Lombard Street, I went to Fisherman's Wharf, saw the sea lions, and whilst I didn't take the boat over to Alcatraz, I experienced it from another vantage point. I tried my hand at riding a Lime, which started very well until I dropped my camera. Then Pete, his fiancée and some friends jumped in the car with me and we drove to Lake Tahoe. So we rented this really epic lodge by the lake, and I even got my drone out for these cool shots, although the storm did kind of mess that up a little bit. Our main reason for coming here though was to ski. Only issue was I'd never been before, so it was a day of intensive lessons, and by the end of which I was actually able to tackle the slopes like a pro. Well, not quite. So you can see my time in California has been unbelievable. I guess the icing on the cake is this. I thought it was a fitting time now to reveal where we're heading next. We're going to Japan. We are flying over to Tokyo. So I'm going to be driving down from San Francisco down to LA. Hang on, drive to LA? I did mention that I was going to drive down to LA, but plans have changed and I've kind of decided, because I'm flying around the world, it makes sense to fly down. I'm flying Delta first, going to try it out, never tried Delta before, glasses are steaming up, oh my goodness. I have now arrived back at the airport. Delta Sky Club Lounge. It looks so nice already. It's also quieter today, I think, because it's President's Day in the US, so it's like a bank holiday here. Probably not going to have much to drink because last night was a bit of a bar crawl in San Francisco and I'm feeling... Enjoyed that. I only spent sort of about half an hour, 45 minutes. I'm now going over to my gate. I'm going to catch the flight over to LA. It looks like a pretty full flight, to be honest, today, so I don't know how that's going to affect the experience. This is Delta Regional First Class. I mean, it's no lay flat suite, but it will do. Loved takeoff on this one, just as the sun was setting over Silicon Valley. Service today was pretty basic, but it was only a short flight. I got given a drink and had a snack. There was also free Wi-Fi. Before I knew it, we had arrived in LAX. Very much. Not sure if you've arrived recently into LAX, but what in the world is going on with Uber? I am staying at the Hilton right next to the airport, which if you're transiting in LA, I highly recommend. The flight. Overall, I was very impressed, and for such a short flight, the fact that you've got proper business, I know they call it first, but proper business class seats, it's a lot better than what we get in Europe. We're currently at the Qantas First Class Lounge. Checked in, had a little coffee on the go, over to the gate in just a minute. Flight time today I think is about 11.5 hours. I'm so excited. And of course guys, as I said, it has not cost me anywhere near the price that it should. I think the revenue price for today's flight is $9,000 or $10,000. So with that said, let's head over to the gate and go and catch our flight to Tokyo. I didn't have anything to eat specifically because I want to indulge in the food on the flight. It's meant to be unbelievable. But of course, I'll let you guys know what it's like and you'll be with me. I've just got myself settled in. Got myself a lovely glass of champagne. Nice warm towel. We will now experience this 11.5 hour flight together. For those of you wondering why I didn't fly from San Fran, as JAL also fly from there, it was actually down to miles availability. And of course, as I said, I'm not paying $9,000. Right, let's get down to business. Champagne today is Cristal, which is super expensive, so of course I took full advantage. Talking of expense, have you ever tried caviar before? Yup, that is raw fish eggs. This again is expensive stuff, and I know it sounds pretty grim, but I can honestly say I'm a convert. Now for my favourite, steak. Cooked medium rare and washed down with yet more champagne. I know I should be drinking red, but hey, who cares? Next, I changed into my provided pyjamas, and then found the strange bidet feature of the Japanese toilet. On returning to my seat, the lovely FA was making my bed up for me. This was super comfy, though quite warm. Why do they keep their cabin so warm? Anyone? A wine bottle came to wake me up, which I'm not complaining about, but to my surprise was actually the super tasty Japanese green tea. You know what it's time for, let's crack on with some Japanese food. Polished off with some fruit and Haagen-Dazs ice cream. At this point I realised we're only about 45 minutes out of Japan, so a quick change of clothes later I got ready for landing. Super cool that today we're able to see Mount Fuji on the approach.
I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve. That was a bit unnerving. I would not be allowed in the UK,
You may be starting to see a trend here. Here's my top 3 of what I ate in Tokyo. This was pretty challenging to order as no one spoke English. I did work it out and got my personal favourite in, the chicken katsu curry. Sticking on the katsu theme, I went for the famous Wagyu katsu, which you have to cook yourself. And last but not least, shrimp tempura. These are just deep fried battered goodness. I wish they did it like this back in England. We're in Shibuya crossing, and look who I've bumped into. This is my old school friend Kosei. Actually, do you know what? This is actually the perfect time to teach me a tiny bit of Japanese. How do I say hi?
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Is that good?
Yeah, it's very good.
How about one beer, please?
Yeah.
Beer Stutze Kodasai.
Yeah.
We'll just pretend that's okay. Jose has just informed me that there is somewhere else that you can get a better perspective of this crossing.
There.
Oh wow.
You wanna
I like
capture
that.
it.
Yeah, that's the one, right? Literally, how epic is this place? It's like somewhere from the future. I am at Sensoji Temple here in Akasura. It's one of the most famous landmarks in the whole of Tokyo, if not Japan. Also, you can see the Tokyo Sky Tree in the backdrop as well. The reason that I am filming is because I wanted to sort of say to you guys where I'm heading next. I'm heading to Seoul in South Korea. It's around a 2-hour flight and I'll be taking Asiana's A380 on their business class. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a first class ticket on this routing, which is a bit of a shame. However, there's a small chance I might be able to get into their business plus, but that's something you can only do at the airport. So anyway, that's my next destination. Tokyo, you've been incredible. I'll catch you guys next at the airport. I have arrived at Narita Airport. I'm just at the ANA business class lounge before I go and get my flight. The lounge is fantastic. I have actually been here before when I was in Japan, but it's highly recommended if you're flying on a Star Alliance carrier. It's the one to go for. Unfortunately, we have a little bit of a equipment change. Basically, I was meant to be flying this double-decker Whale, but due to lower demand, not quite the plane I was expecting, but let's see what the A330 offers with Asiana. Let's get on board. Wow, the 1990s called and they want their plane back. No, we'll give this a fair chance today. I was trying to explain here the excitement that no one had taken the window seat. Of course, that was short-lived, as it always is, don't you find? A refreshing cool towel later, the aircraft began to push back and the safety video began to play.
Please follow the cabin crew's instructions at all times.
In just a few minutes, we were airborne. As I mentioned today, it's only a short flight, and not much longer than the Delta flight actually, that I flew just a few days ago. So I began fooling around with the seat, and thankfully my seatmate was pretty infatuated with whatever was on the in-flight entertainment. I popped to the bathroom just before meal service, and somehow I managed to get cologne in my eye. I was surprised to find a delicious looking meal back at my seat. Bear in mind this is a short haul flight. This is called bibimbap, which is a Korean dish of mixed rice, meat and assorted vegetables. I was just super impressed with the attention to detail here, not forgetting those silver chopsticks, which I struggle with at the best of times. Remember, a comparable European or American flight, you're lucky to get a sandwich. I thought I'd take a look at what my seatmate was enjoying so much on the in-flight entertainment. I still don't know, to be honest. Right, there we go. We are now in Seoul. That was only a 2-hour flight, very comfortable. And now we need to work out how to get over to the hotel. So I fathomed out what to do. I grabbed the express airport train into the city. Tonight I'm super excited as we're staying in one of the world's tallest buildings. Shower in there. Oh, it's a toilet. Oh, for God's sake. What in the name? Okay, I've seen it all. I am so sad that I find that fun. Oh, hi, didn't see you there. After having a YouTube-friendly bath and watching planes out of my window, I headed to breakfast. This was on the 89th floor, and like everything at this hotel, it was completely over the top. I hope you can hear me. I have been provided with a mask by my good friend Daniel over here.
Hey guys.
And we're currently out. I've just forgotten what it's called. What did you say it was called?
Changdeokgung Palace.
Changdeokgung Palace. Let me just put my sunglasses back on. I am straight in the sun. We're here for the afternoon and Daniel's kindly showing me around. We're going to go out for a Korean barbecue later on. And I'm starting to get used to this this mask. I mean, it's a good look, right? If we're lucky, I might learn a tiny bit of Korean. We shall see. I I think my language skills are best retired, to be honest. We headed via metro over to the Korean barbecue place. If you haven't tried this before, it's an absolute must. Basically, you choose your meat and your food is cooked traditionally right in front of you. Arrived at the airport, just got into the Asiana lounge, which seems pretty good. I'm about to go over to the gate. I've got about 20 minutes and catch my flight over to Dubai. I'm pretty excited about this. Ticket at the ready. Well, here we are guys, I've made it over to the gate. Here is our plane today, the A380-800, ready for the 10-hour flight over to Dubai. About to board, I think we've got front door maybe boarding? What does it look like? No, we've got a separate one up here. Welcome on board. I've been presented with a lovely glass of champagne, which I have no idea what I'm talking about with champagne, but it tastes good. After smashing down another couple of glasses, I swapped my shoes out for slippers, kicked back and waited for takeoff. Now we're in the sky, let's see what you get on Emirates First. One of the coolest features are these automated doors. I actually feel like a Bond villain. Let's also not forget the secret minibar in your seat. Right, should we go take a shower? There are 2 shower spas at the front of the first class cabin. Literally bucket list goals right here. I literally never thought I'd be showering on a plane. I put on my moisturising pyjamas and went back to my seat. Now for the fancy stuff, a 2002 Dom P. I flicked through the menu and shortly after my table was set. Today we're having caviar again. How is this becoming a common occurrence? Another Dom top up later and we're on to my main. You guessed it, medium rare steak. After dinner, I thought it was a good time to go and hang out in the bar. Strangely, this was pretty much empty. But hey, the Emirates staff, as always, were awesome. I had a great chat with... Several drinks later, it was time to get some rest. The crew made up one of the empty suites for me into a bed. This definitely wins the award for the comfiest bed so far on this trip. I got those automated doors shut and I was out like a light. Before I knew it, we were coming into land in Dubai. I was feeling pretty tired actually, as to be fair, I hadn't slept that much due to having so much fun. Thank you guys, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye. Wow, what an amazing flight that was. After having my drone confiscated in customs, whoops, I hopped in the complimentary S-Class and off to my hotel to get some kit. We have arrived in Dubai. I am slightly confused at the time, I've got to say. I just looked at my watch and it's 6:20, but obviously in Korea we're by Dubai Mall. This is obviously the Burj Khalifa, tallest building in the world. All this talk of high buildings has given me an idea. As I'm staying at the Shangri-La, it actually has a little known secret. How is this for a view over downtown Dubai? We're going to be heading back to London tomorrow. However, I think I'm saving the best until last because we're going to be flying on Emirates' brand new first class. I'm about to share with you guys what I honestly believe is the world's best first class. Only flown on a select number of planes, this is also known as the game changer. But first we have the delights of the Emirates First Class lounge. It is literally the entire floor of the terminal, it's ridiculous. So here we go. I mean, that's pretty impressive for a lounge, isn't it? That is a proper restaurant menu. Guesses in the comments what I went for. Yeah. Okay, so a starter of hummus and pita, but of course, for the main, steak, medium rare. Guys, first passenger, the first person I've seen. I've been here an hour. One passenger. What is this? And of course, I had to check out the cigar lounge. I'm now back down outside of the lounge. That was unbelievable. Finished with a massage. I feel incredibly relaxed, not in the right frame to go to the other side of the whole airport in order to catch my flight. So now I've got to catch this little train that takes me over to the B gates and go and catch my flight over to London. Welcome on board. I have literally just got on board and I've already been poured a delicious glass of champagne. Standard procedure now, shoes off, slippers on while I wait for takeoff.
Fasten the seatbelt over your blanket so that we will not have to disturb you.
It was at this point I was handed some binoculars. I literally had no idea what to do with them, therefore they were relegated to a prop for my new Tinder profile. Well, it's been a few minutes and I've not mentioned food, so let's have some. Today we're using room service to order. I kid you not, you can order via a video call. How is this becoming routine? We're starting with caviar again. I'm going to have withdrawal on this when I'm home. No way am I paying usual for this. For main, I'm going to surprise you guys. No steak at the minute because I've only just had it in the lounge. So we're going to go for short rib. And to finish, I went for some cognac. Not just any though, this is $1,000 a bottle. My expert opinion on it.
I mean, it tastes good.
The real surprise about today's flight is having all of first class to myself. I kid you not. The crew were awesome and made up the bed for me in another suite. Etihad residents, eat your heart out. With that, I thought I may as well have a quick nap. So, jumped into my freshly made bed, drew the curtains, and I got some shut-eye. It actually wasn't that long before we started to descend into, wait for it, London Stansted. Bet you didn't see that one coming.
Very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Right, so we have now arrived in London. And with that, I'm happy to announce that complete round the world in first class. So the question you've all been wanting the answer to, how much did all this cost? Well, firstly, the retail cost of all this travel would have been nearly $40,000. Now that makes me feel a bit sick, to be honest, and no way would I ever spend that amount of money. I used a mix of air miles and made use of multi-class ticketing to make this doable. So let me walk you through this. My BA flight cost me $500, mainly due to UK taxes. Delta First was a cash booking, but booked super last minute at only $100. JAL was points again and cost me only $100. Asiana was $200, but I paid more because I really wanted to get on the A380, which of course didn't end up happening. Then we have the Emirates flights, which I'm sure will surprise you. No miles used here, it was actually a revenue booking. I booked a return flight from Seoul to London Stansted, but the return was in economy. I'm upgrading the return leg to business for use later in this year. This cost me $1,800, which was my most expensive single ticket. This comes to a grand total of $2,700. Now whilst that's a lot of money, I'm sure you can appreciate that beats the $40,000 price tag. I hope you enjoyed this and thanks so much for watching up to this point. I'll be back very soon with another video, but until then, take it easy, ciao.